Music producers, beat makers, singer-songwriters, artists, and any human soul here on this earth suffering with depression. Are you exhausted with having to manage your depression every single day, and you find yourself putting on a smiley face and being positive all the time when deep down you are completely unhappy and exhausted and not feeling positive? Or what if I told you that you could completely heal depression forever and feel and be authentically positive by implementing this one thing into your healing process? And that is to stop pretending that you are okay and remove toxic positivity from your life completely. Toxic positivity is stopping you from healing depression. It is harmful to your soul. It is harming your ability to live a fulfilling and happy life. Because faking it till you make it is a load of bullshit and actually does not do anything for your soul and does not create any long-lasting change in your life. As I mentioned in my videos, it is 100% possible to completely heal depression forever, where you wake up and desire life, where you are emotionally grounded and responsible for how you feel, where you are clear and you set goals and you have dreams and you are motivated to fulfilling your purpose here on this earth. So in this video, I'm going to share some life-changing insights on why toxic positivity is harming you, and also some life-changing tips on what you can do to remove toxic positivity from your life. I have approximately 10 years of experience of feeling through and processing emotional pain and trauma that were causing my depression, and everything that I'm going to share with you I have learned from doctors and medical professionals and spiritual teachings called Divine Truth Teachings. So to back up and reference everything that I'm going to share today in this video, I'll provide some links to some resources in the description of this video that has helped me to learn as much as I can about how to heal depression and also process through emotional trauma. So if you want to check out those resources, feel free to head to the links in the description. All right, so the first thing to understand about toxic positivity is that it invalidates your feelings and it minimizes and skips over them. And this is something that you do not want to do when you are trying to heal depression. You want to be real and honest and truthful about your feelings 100% of the time. So statements like, positive vibes only, man, just look on the bright side, it could be much worse, just think happy thoughts, oh, don't worry about it, that's all in the past. These are all typical toxic positivity statements that either you tell yourself or people tell you in order to invalidate your feelings and get you to skip over and pretend like that was not something important. It really is minimizing your experience and what you went through. More than anything, it's minimizing your feelings about how you felt about that experience that you went through. So whether you are doing this to yourself or you're doing it to other people or other people are doing it to you, what we are doing is essentially saying to ourselves or other people that their feelings don't exist. And if they do exist, we should just skip over them and move on with life. Now, the problem with skipping over emotions and skipping over pain is that the more you pretend to be happy, you're basically just creating a much worse problem for yourself. So the more you pretend to be happy, the more worse you're going to feel inside. Because the way that the soul works is that negative emotions never go away unless you feel them and release them from your soul. So you can pretend to be happy for the rest of your life, but one day, inevitably one day, you are going to have to face the fact that you are not happy, and you are going to have to go through a process of discovering why you aren't happy and feeling and processing through that emotional trauma, because it is always related to emotional trauma and pain that you experience from certain life experiences that you went through. Our soul, the human soul, the thing that basically operates through this robotic, fleshy body, is wired to be expressive, to be emotionally expressive. Our soul was created to express and feel every emotion, not just the happy emotions. Happy emotions are easy to feel. And the reason why I focus on the painful ones, because they are the emotions that we do not like to feel. We spend our life trying to feel happy and pretending to be happy and doing everything externally to be happy other than feel the pain that we're in. So our soul was created to be emotionally expressive beings, which means feeling every single emotion, not just the happy ones that we prefer to pretend to feel rather than actually authentically feel. I can 100% guarantee that if you continue to pretend to be happy and pretend to put on a smiley face, your depression will never heal. So toxic positivity is not just about positive vibes all the time, man. It actually goes a lot deeper into childhood experiences. So what I mean by that is that we can use toxic positivity to basically minimize and skip over our experiences as children. And this is what I see a lot of people doing, and it's actually what I did a lot in my life, was that I looked at all of the bad things that happened in my childhood and I made excuses for them, and I pretended that they weren't as bad as what I felt they were. And this is very common in parent and child relationships, where you're in a relationship with your parent who has done harmful things to you, but you use excuses like, oh, they did their best, to minimize your own experience and skip over the pain that it has caused you. And this is an area where I feel toxic positivity isn't talked about enough. So one of the things that you'll need to look at with toxic positivity is how you are using that to minimize experiences you went through in your childhood that were painful, that were directly caused by your parents. Because I know in this day and age, we want to revere our parents. We want to put them up on a pedestal and say, oh, but they did their best, with what they had. Meanwhile, they used physical violence on you. They used manipulation tools. They shut down your emotions. And they did all of these things that are sometimes considered very normal in society that actually caused you emotional pain. So toxic positivity doesn't just relate to positive vibes only, man. It relates to how are we using it to minimize, skip over, and justify and make excuses for how we were treated in our childhood. So that's a very important thing to look at when you are on your journey to healing depression, is that you need to be real and honest about what happened in your childhood. And you need to take off the rosy colored glasses and stop pretending that your childhood was okay, that your parents did the best that they could. Because while your parents may not be completely bad people, they did take actions that harmed you. And we need to be firm about that, firm but compassionate. So just to recap quickly, toxic positivity is a way to minimize, justify, and invalidate our feelings about certain experiences that we've gone through. And these experiences include our past, childhood, and our current situation. So we will often use toxic positivity to skip over these negative feelings that we have so that we can be bright and happy and bubbly for everyone around us. So that's, in a nutshell, what toxic positivity is. Now, what I'm going to do is share my tips on what you can do to remove toxic positivity from your life. So first of all, you need to recognize it when it happens in your life. So that means coming to understand what toxic positivity is first, so that when it presents in your life, you can call it out, you can recognize it, and you can stop it dead in its tracks. So with coming to recognize toxic positivity in your life, you're either going to be addressing it within yourself, so recognizing when you're actually helping yourself to skip over and minimize your feelings. So you need to become very self-aware of when you're doing it to yourself, and you also need to become self-aware of when you're doing it to other people, and also self-aware of when other people are doing it to you. This will mean having to basically hold yourself accountable for when you're doing it to yourself and other people, and also hold other people accountable for when they're doing it to you. So this might mean having to have discussions with other people about what they're doing so that they can also learn about the harm that they are causing in your life by helping you to avoid certain emotions. So coming to recognize when toxic positivity presents in your life is going to be crucial to you removing it. If you can't recognize it, you're never going to be able to remove it or correct it. Something else that I recommend, if people constantly continue to project toxic positivity onto you, and you've addressed it with them, but they still keep doing it, is you may need to get to the point of restricting your interaction or communication with those people. Now, this is for obvious reasons, because if you continue to put yourself in the company of people who only want to harm you through toxic positivity, this is not going to help you to heal your depression. Sometimes to heal depression, you need to remove yourself from the people who are causing it in your life. It's so important to remove yourself from people who are helping you to stay in the same place. You want to surround yourself with people who will encourage you to feel your emotions, and you want to also encourage other people to feel their emotions as well. So my next tip would be to, instead of saying to other people, look on the bright side, oh, it could be much worse, you could say other things like, I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through that. You could encourage them to feel their emotions and tell them it's okay to feel what you're feeling. You're allowed to have these feelings, but also go the extra step and encourage them to feel those feelings and process through it. Inspire them and tell them that they can process through any emotion, that they were created to be able to feel and express emotion no matter how painful it is. So this tip is not something that you'll hear often. Not many medical professionals or self-help information encourages people to feel their emotions, but it is something that has completely changed my life over the past 10 years. And it is something that I put into practice with myself and also with other people. Is I do as much as I can to encourage others to feel their emotions, along with encouraging myself to feel my emotions when I need to. Especially the painful emotions. The happy ones are easy to feel, so I don't need to encourage myself to feel happy emotions because those ones come easy and I welcome those emotions. It's the painful ones that sometimes I have to give myself a nudge, a push to go, it's okay, you can feel this, you can get through this, you can feel any emotion and come through the other end, and it's not going to harm you, it's going to be better for you. So my other tip would be to have self-compassion and acceptance and understand that you are a work in progress, right? Now, removing toxic positivity from your life doesn't mean living in negativity. It doesn't mean living in depression. So you don't want to be negative towards yourself. You don't want to put yourself down. You don't want to self-punish. You want to have compassion for where you're at while you are working through and processing through some painful emotions. Being negative and self-punishing isn't actually going to help you to process through any emotions. So it's important to not go from toxic positivity to self-punishment and negativity. My tip would be to actually take responsibility for how you feel by making time every day to feel and process through whatever pain you need to, and also making sure that whatever pain comes up through any experience that you have throughout the day, that you allow yourself to feel it and process it so that you aren't bottling up your emotions, so that you aren't, again, going and reverting back into toxic positivity. You want to be real and authentic about your emotions 24/7, every single minute of the day. Whether they are good or happy emotions, you want to be real and authentic about how you're feeling. So that's actually probably my biggest tip, is to be self-responsible for how you feel and not deny it, not minimize it, not justify it, not excuse it, but to validate your feelings so that you can work towards the goal of completely releasing this feeling from your soul and healing depression. And a part of being self-responsible for how you feel and your emotions is about being able to recognize what you're feeling. If you can't become aware of what you're actually feeling, you're never going to be able to feel it to release it. So that might mean going, wow, I feel really angry right now. So name it. Name how you feel. I'm feeling angry. Then go and feel that and express it and release it. Make sure you're honest with yourself about what you're feeling. Because again, this is all about becoming authentic and real about how you feel. So, pretending that you're happy when deep down you're just angry is not helping you to be authentic with how you feel. So that would be my next tip, is to be honest about what you're feeling so that you can feel and express it and release it from your soul. So just a quick recap on my tips. So the first one was to understand toxic positivity so that you can recognize it in your life, whether it's you being toxic towards yourself or other people, or other people doing it to you. It's important to understand toxic positivity so you can call it out, you can clock it, you can eliminate it from your life and work towards being more authentic and real with yourself and with other people. The second tip was to remove anyone from your life who continues to project toxic positivity towards you. You want to remove people from your life who want to hold you back from healing depression, who want to keep you in the same place. It's very important to surround yourself with people who will encourage you to feel and express your emotions, and to also encourage others in your life to feel and express emotions. So you want to surround yourself with people who want to help you to heal rather than stop you from healing. And the most important point of this is to encourage yourself to feel emotions and also encourage other people to feel their emotions and to be real and honest about what they're feeling. Then the third tip was to have compassion and acceptance for where you're at, while understanding you are a work in progress and you're working towards healing something. So you don't want to be negative or self-punishing towards yourself or towards other people who are trying to heal and be real about their feelings. So this involves developing a self-responsibility to feel every single emotion, whether it is good or bad, especially the painful ones, because as I mentioned, feeling the happy emotions is easy. We have no problem with that. It's actually feeling the painful emotions that we have trouble with being responsible for. So we need to develop this self-responsibility to feel every single emotion. And the final tip was to be real about what you're feeling. Be honest about it. Don't pretend that you're happy when you're feeling angry. If an emotion comes up, sit with it, come to understand what it is so that you can feel and express it. And as I said, it could range from fear, anger, sadness, grief, shame, jealousy, and so on. They would be my ultimate tips. Now, as I mentioned, I have 10 years of experience in processing and feeling through painful emotional trauma from my life and my childhood, including pain that I created in my adult life as well. And I can honestly say that by being honest with myself about how I felt and how I feel on a day-to-day basis helps me and stops me from reverting back to depression. By being completely honest about my feelings, about all of that, has helped me to heal my depression. It has helped me to create meaningful relationships in my life, positive friendships that want to help me to grow. It has helped me to be able to wake up and desire life every single day, to have goals, to have dreams. It has helped me to be emotionally grounded, emotionally responsible. I now have no fear of feeling emotions. Well, I don't know if I have exactly no fear, but I have significantly improved in feeling and expressing emotions on a day-to-day basis. I'm not 100% perfect, but I have achieved so much since actually getting honest and real with myself about my life. I've achieved so many positive things, including getting my degree in music, in changing my life, in having a stable home life. I don't know, it's just so overwhelming how much this has changed my life for the better. I think the biggest change in my life since removing toxic positivity from my life is my relationships have become so much more healthier in my life. My relationship with myself, my relationship with my partner, my relationship with God. It feels like a massive weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Like I don't have to walk around pretending to be happy anymore. Like being honest about my life to myself and with other people has lifted a heavy burden off my shoulders where I'm no longer exhausted or tired. I think I used to be so tired every single day, and now I can wake up with energy to go about my day, to achieving my goals, to working on my passions, to working on my music, to working on my dreams. I have energy for life now. And I think that's one of the beauties of being authentic and real with how you feel, is that you actually release and let go of all of these negative emotions because you're processing through it. You're not holding on to these emotions that are weighing you down. And so you are actually like releasing these emotions from your soul. So therefore you feel lighter. There are days where I don't have to pretend to be happy, where I just am authentically happy and in a good space, and I don't have to pretend. And if there's a day where I feel some kind of negative emotion, I have the tools of how to process through that, and I don't find myself reverting back into depression. Like I'm just allowing my emotions to flow in and flow out of me. And this creates a lot of peace and a grounding in your life. You become very grounded, where you don't have these massive highs and massive lows. You are, operating life on this level playing field where you might come across a bump, so you work through that bump, or you might come across some positive experiences and you get to experience that. But you're not like going from this one extreme to the other in how you feel. You're not like, I think the problem with toxic positivity is that you eventually just exhaust yourself. You spend your days like high, on this high, being positive, to then just like crashing, and that's exactly what happens. In my experience of working in removing this from my life, I find that I'm just being true to what I feel in the moment as best as I can. And so I'm no longer like oscillating from like these big highs to these big lows. I'm just, riding the wave in a very normal range. I also no longer put up with bullshit from people, especially my parents and especially my family. Like I've been able to set clear boundaries for myself with my family, who want to pretend that life has been perfect. I have set clear boundaries with them, and they now know what I will no longer tolerate in my life. And so this has been so good for my mental health, for my depression, in the sense that I've developed now into this free thinking and free will person, that like I've developed using my own free will. Like I've developed my own desires, my own will. I've been able to grow up, and I've been able to remove myself from the hooks of my mom and like just family members who wanted to keep me small and wanted to keep me from healing myself. I now live a life of independence and desire and using my own free will, and not like being controlled by my family members, So yeah, I've been able to develop my own free will, my own desires, create my own life, have independence, because I'm no longer being dictated by other people telling me, oh, I should feel this, I should feel that. I've been able to I guess, forge my own pathway in life. And with that comes a lot of freedom. Freedom from other people oppressing you and keeping you small and keeping you held back. So that has been one area of my life that has really changed, is this independence and developing into my own person that God created me to be, rather than what other people wanted me to be. So there's just been so many positive benefits from removing toxic positivity in my life. And I know that if you apply this into your life and remove toxic positivity from your life and get really honest about your life in your childhood and in your current situation, and you remain true to what you're feeling and you honor those feelings and you allow yourself to feel through them and express them in an honest and real way, you will eventually get to a point in your life where you no longer have to force positivity. You simply just are positive. You can get to a point in your life where you are so grounded emotionally that you are capable of dealing with whatever comes your way in a very real, honest, and authentic way. I think you just become more honest in your life, more truthful, more self-aware about yourself and where you're at. So if you want to heal your depression, remove toxic positivity in your life, stop pretending that you are okay, stop putting on a smiley face, and be real with how you feel. That's a very cool line. Be real with how you feel. Love it. I know that if you start being real with how you feel in your life, you are going to heal your depression 100%. You are going to create a more fulfilling and happy life for yourself, full of desire, full of goals, full of dreams. You're going to wake up every single day desiring life. But toxic positivity is just one aspect of your life that you will need to remove to heal depression. There are other things that you will need to do in order to fully heal depression forever from your life. And I highly recommend to check out my playlist on how to overcome depression as a music producer. Now, this playlist isn't just for music producers, it is for everyone. So I highly recommend to go and check out this playlist either on my screen somewhere up on the top or in the link in the description. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and I'll see you in the next one.